welcome. A very good morning to all our viewers. You're watching the newspaper show with me, Poonam Burde. Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to get you what's making headlines in the top newspapers today. We'll also get you a sneak peek of what is making headlines in the city editions from 5 metros. Let's begin with what the Times of India holds on this Sunday morning. The biggest one, of course, is about the corona fight, and India, unfortunately, is still witnessing an upward trajectory as far as cases are concerned. Now, the point of concern right now is that over 80% of cases come from 8 specific states in the country. That's the top headline here in the Sunday Times this morning. 8 states account for 86% of corona cases, 87% of deaths. Now, Maharashtra, Delhi are among those 8 states. Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh are also part of that. 61% daily case growth is from Maharashtra, Delhi and Tamil Nadu. These 3 states are what is causing concern. Those are the biggest problem areas, so to say, as far as the entire country is concerned. There is also news about the standoff at the line of actual control, which has been going on for weeks now. The IAF is watching Chinese bases, sure of matching air power. That's the top headline here as far as the India-China standoff is concerned. Indian fighters are more advanced. That is what we're telling the people reading the Sunday Times today. It talks about how 10 nations are now warning China on their sea claims. Now, Chinese aggression, especially in the South China Sea, is something that has been of concern not just to its neighbors, but to the entire world. Now, going back to COVID, India has worst case fatality ratio in new COVID epicenter of South Asia. That's another top headline that is in the Times of India as far as India's COVID count is concerned. Pakistan and Afghanistan are worst in deaths per million, at least as far as Southeast Asia is concerned. Prime Minister has a small blurb of what the Prime Minister has said. No bias on basis of faith, gender or caste. That is what the Prime Minister yesterday said. He said the government does not discriminate against the people in this country on the basis of faith, gender, caste, creed and language. This is the message that the Prime Minister gave that finds space in a blurb there on the Times of India. DU postpones online exams by 10 days. That's also of concern to students and anxious parents across the country. The Delhi University has now decided, it announced yesterday, in fact, that it will postpone its online open book exams from the 1st of July to the 10th of July. That is 10 days more for students to prepare. That's what the Sunday Times holds today. Let's move on to what the Navbharat Times holds for its readers today. The biggest one is about the locust swarm that was seen across Delhi NCR, across northern India, really. That's the top story here in the Sunday version of the Navbharat Times. Dhawa bolne ke baad lord gaye tidiyan par khatra barqarar. That's what it says. The locust swarm has now passed the Delhi NCR region. It started with Faridabad, Gurugram. It was moving towards Uttar Pradesh yesterday. It has so far moved on, is what the Navbharat Times says, but it also says that khatra abhi bhi barqarar hai, which means we still need to be very, very careful, especially those people who are staying in these particular areas in the Delhi NCR region. Another top news that we are seeing here is, of course, about COVID. Delhi desh mein badi theek hone ki raftar. That is the big headline. That is also the silver lining as far as India's COVID fight is concerned. It talks about the recovery rate in the country. Rajdhani mein corona marizon ki recovery rate 61.48%. That's over 61% recovery rate only in the national capital. The country average also is inching closer to that. That's the silver lining as far as the number of COVID count is concerned, because remember, as we move towards reopening our economy, our unlocking phase, as we move forward in that particular direction, more and more cases, unfortunately, are coming to the fore from across the country, especially from 8 particular states. At such a time, the recovery rate, which is way past 60%, is the hope that people are clinging on to. Another headline in the Navbharat Times is, of course, about the standoff along the line of actual control. Cheen ne Pangong Jheel ke paas banaya helipad. Now, Pangong Tso along the line of actual control in Ladakh has also been where we've seen Chinese aggression. This big headline in the Navbharat Times talks about how China and the PLA troops have now built a helipad near Pangong Tso Lake. That is the big headline here. It also talks about the news that is, of course, most important to students and anxious parents, like I was mentioning earlier, which also finds space in the Times of India, also finds a mention in the Navbharat Times. IIT के final year के students को 15 July तक मिल सकेगी degree. Now, IIT final year students have those who are set to graduate this year have been awaiting their convocation. Their graduation ceremony, of course, had to be pushed because of the lockdown, the coronavirus pandemic. We're given to understand that online convocation, online degree is likely to be given to these final year students of the IIT. That is likely to happen on the 15th of July. Delhi University and the exams that are going to be conducted in the Delhi University also finds a mention in the Navbharat Times. Delhi University में open book exam अब होंगे 10 July से. This is what the Times of India also reported. They were initially going to be held from the 1st of July, but they're now been pushed to the 10th of July. That means their students are going to get another 10-day reprieve, so to say, to prepare for their final year exams. That was the Navbharat Times. Now moving on to the Economic Times, which is the Economic Times magazine that comes out every Sunday. This talks about India moves air defense systems into eastern Ladakh. Now, that's the big story here in the Economic Times magazine. That is the big story that has remained across newspapers for several days now. That is the big headline. Because remember, India's national security is, of course, paramount. That has been the subject of national debate over the last few weeks, especially in the wake of Chinese aggression that has come to the fore at the line of actual control. India is now fortifying its border with China because China cannot be trusted, despite several meetings between the army commanders of both sides, also diplomatic level talks. We have seen China's aggression along the line of actual control. So India is also now fortifying its border. So India has decided to move its air defense systems into eastern Ladakh. We're given to understand that the MEA database is going to map skills of workers. That's also another big story that the Economic Times magazine is reporting today. We're given to understand that Hong Kong has banned annual pro-democracy rally for the first time in 17 years. This also finds mention in the Economic Times magazine. Now, this is important given the situation that China faces at the moment. There is global pressure, not just over what is happening with India, but also the mishandling of COVID-19 pandemic, because China, remember, that's where it originated. It faces allegations of keeping a lid on it for months, and that has led to the pandemic growing to such a large scale across the globe. One big information, one big news, good news, so to say, for e-commerce sellers is what Flipkart has now said. It says that we're seeing a spurt in new sellers. That's what Flipkart has said. It said that it has enabled more than 90% of its sellers to resume business on the platform since April. Now, this is the time when the lockdown was in force. E-commerce websites were the only source of people getting their essentials. That is what Flipkart now says, that over the last 1 month, 2 months, really, since the lockdown began in March, now since April, the e-commerce major has noted that it has seen a 125% increase in new sellers signing up on the platform, because that is the only platform, really, that is the only e-commerce platform, apart from several other platforms, where people can get their essentials. And now, of course, delivery of non-essentials is also underway. The ASEAN has strongly opposed China's sea claims. This also does find mention in the Times of India, like I mentioned to you earlier. Now, Southeast Asian leaders said a 1982 UN Oceans Treaty should be the basis of sovereign rights and entitlement in the South China Sea. Now, China's aggression in the South China Sea has been opposed by countries that share that particular ocean, but also by the entire world, because we have seen China and its maneuvers really to trap smaller nations either in debt or by military might. That is what ASEAN nation leaders are now warning Beijing about. The cover story in the Economic Times magazine is about Unilever's admission of how they will take out the word fair from Fair and Lovely. This one talks about advertising rules are very clear. A little social good campaigning is fine, but for brands, you have to be practical and feature a fair-skinned, thin, upper-class model. It talks about how advertising for top brands especially has been over the few years in India. It talks about it's a kind of chemical warfare on the soul of people in a war of social hierarchy, offering a distraction from the root causes of inequality while adding to them. Now, that was the big admission that we saw from Hindustan Unilever that came in a few days ago about their biggest brand, so to say, which is the Fairness Cream, Fair and Lovely. That is what the Economic Times magazine talks about. That's the cover story this morning. Moving on to what city editions hold for our readers this morning. Let's begin with the national capital, with New Delhi. Now, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has listed 5 key tools in fighting COVID-19. That's the big story as far as the national capital is concerned. Kangana is now joining us for more on this. Yes, Kangana.
But of course, Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, has listed these 5 weapons that can fight coronavirus. As we know, the numbers are constantly increasing in the national capital. Yesterday, we had crossed the benchmark of 80,000 with 2,900 some cases coming yesterday evening. So this is the health bulletin, and apart from that, the Delhi Chief Minister has mentioned these 5 weapons that will be used to fight coronavirus. And the first weapon that he's listed is the fact that there should be an increase in the number of COVID beds, extensive testing, isolation, distribution of pulse oximeters to those who are in home isolation, plasma therapy, screening and survey of the containment zones are the 5 weapons that Arvind Kejriwal has mentioned where he will be fighting, where he plans to fight the coronavirus with the rising number of cases in the national capital with these 5 weapons.
That we've seen that Arvind Kejriwal has announced. Of course, the numbers of COVID cases in the national capital are only increasing, and that is a big concern, isn't it, Kangana?
Yes, of course, that's the big concern, because we saw, I just mentioned that the number of cases have increased and have touched the 80,000 mark. Now, the cases in Delhi are above 80,000 with 2,957 cases coming yesterday. And that's the number of cases that we are seeing. There were 66 deaths reported yesterday alone in Delhi in the last 24 hours. So with these number of cases increasing every single day, Arvind Kejriwal has decided to use these 5 weapons where he will be fighting coronavirus. And he will be making sure that Delhi sees the day when cases seems to reduce day by day.
Right, we are seeing that cases are increasing. Now it has surpassed the cases that of Mumbai also, which was the worst affected city as far as the number of cases was concerned. Kangana, thank you for joining us with those details. We're moving on to what Mumbai holds for its viewers, for its readers this morning. Now, Mumbai is the worst affected as far as Maharashtra is concerned. The entire state, of course, has now managed to keep a steady surge as far as number of cases is concerned. But unfortunately, we're seeing that there is a jump that has been a significant one that has been witnessed, especially in Mumbai. The city added its highest single-day tally in the last 24 hours, that of over 2,000 cases, many of which are reconciled cases, we're given to understand. As far as deaths are concerned, 105 were recorded in the last 24 hours. Kajal is now joining us with more on that. Kajal, now we're given to understand that the total number of cases in the city of Mumbai stands at over 74,000.
Yes, in fact, the reconciliation process, according to the authorities, is almost complete. And that is why yesterday we saw a huge spike in the number of cases and also the number of deaths, because the earlier cases which had not been recorded were reconciled yesterday. So there has been a change in the percentage of a number of cases that the state contributes to the rest of the state. It used to be somewhere hovering around more than 60%, and now it is only around 25% of the entire number of cases in Maharashtra. But the MMR region, that is the other municipal corporations abutting Mumbai, are still seeing a surge in cases. So it is still a cause of concern. While the government has said that perhaps the numbers may have stabilized, they have said that we cannot let our guard down just yet.
Right, and we're also given to understand, Kajal, that there is a possibility of a localized shutdown in Thane district.
There is, of course, a likelihood. Love Agarwal with the central team had just visited Thane yesterday, and it could be one of the recommendations that he has given, because there are certain places, certain containment zones which have seen a major spike in post the unlockdown, so to say, and that is why the authorities there are taking measures. In fact, even in certain northern suburbs of Mumbai, similar measures are being taken where smaller areas are being shut down completely to try and contain the surge.
Right, Kajal, thank you for getting us those details. These are the big information that we're getting to you from the city of Mumbai, which is the worst affected, unfortunately, as far as the state of Maharashtra is concerned. Moving on to Bengaluru now, and what the city edition of Bengaluru holds for its readers this Sunday morning. Now, 13,000 people have broken home quarantine rules in Bengaluru. That's one of the top stories here as far as the IT capital of the country is concerned. Experts are also split over homestay for asymptomatic patients. Now, this is a cause of concern not just in the city of Bengaluru or in the state of Karnataka, but what to do with asymptomatic patients, whether or not to put them in institutional quarantine or ask them to quarantine themselves at home has been a matter of debate across several states. Imran's now joining us for more on this. Imran, the biggest headline from Bengaluru is that the city has now recorded 596 COVID cases in a day.
Well, absolutely. This is shocked many of the Bangaloreans that around 1,000 cases were reported in Bengaluru yesterday, and half of the cases has come from Bengaluru itself. Totally around 4,400 cases are from Karnataka, and out of which half of it are from Bengaluru. There has been many steps also announced by the Chief Minister, locking down of the main markets in Bengaluru, and every Sunday there will be a lockdown from July 5th, and also every Saturday also will be off to government officials in Karnataka. But many are questioning, is these steps enough, or is the state is looking for a more lockdown or complete lockdown? The state government continues to deny, say that there is no community transmission. Right. Meanwhile, suggestions are pouring what to do about asymptomatic patients and whether they can be also admitted in separate hospitals and space made for them. The Chief Minister has already said that they are looking at options. They have opened Karnataka Tiva Stadium and other stadiums to be converted into COVID care centers. There has been suggestions coming in from MLAs that marriage halls outside the city could also be converted into COVID care centers for asymptomatic patients. These are the steps being taken right now, but why did led to the spike in so much of number of cases? The department is still tight-lipped about it.
Right, because so far Bengaluru, as far as other metropolitan cities are concerned, Imran, Bengaluru had managed to keep a lid on the spread of COVID-19 in the city. But unfortunately now, as we're moving into the unlocking phase, as more and more things are opening up, Bengaluru also is falling prey. They're unfortunately not being able to contain the spread.
Well, absolutely. So far, Bengaluru and Karnataka government was lauded for the efforts, what they have done. And in fact, Prime Minister's office also had lauded Karnataka for the efforts. But looks like things, because of the unlock, which was done by the state looking at more economic activity to revive in the state, there has been seen a steady spike in the number of cases. The state government attributes it to the migrant workers or people from Maharashtra, Delhi, and other states who have come to Karnataka. They have brought the, led to the spike in number of cases. They do not attribute to the locals. In fact, the Chief Minister said that it's the outsiders. Due to outsiders, we are seeing a spike in number of cases. As far as the Karnataka is concerned, they haven't managed to contain the number.
Right, Imran. Thank you for joining us with those details. The Karnataka government there now has its job cut out for themselves. Moving on to what the Chennai edition holds on for its readers this Sunday morning. The infection rate in the city is slowing down. Remember, Chennai was also one of the worst affected metro cities. Now the infection rate is slowing down. That's good news coming in. Remember, the lockdown in Chennai was imposed until the end of this month, and 3 other districts as well, as we saw a spike in the number of cases, especially coming in from Chennai. Now, the big story that finds a mention on the front page of the Chennai edition is about the custodial deaths that we've seen in Tamil Nadu and how the Tamil Nadu government is completely unmoved. It says custody deaths trigger global outrage, but the state government is unmoved. That's the big story. But as far as the COVID fight is concerned, we're given to understand that the Southern Railways have decided now to cancel trains in Tamil Nadu. This even as the infection rate is slowing down. Shabir is now joining us for more on this. Shabir, we're given to understand that epidemiologists are now saying that the rate of infection is finally beginning to slow in Chennai.
Well, that's right. The epidemiologists say that the rate of infection.
We've missed that audio line with Shabir. We are trying to get you more details of that. Of course, the silver lining now for the city of Chennai as it moves towards probably opening up of the extensive lockdown in the city. Shabir's back with us now. Shabir, the infection rate is slowing down, but unfortunately, over 1,900 people have tested positive for that viral infection there.
Well, that's right. Chennai has been reporting, more than 1,900 cases on a daily basis. But for the past, few days, the epidemiologist has found that the rate of infection has gone down, and that is due to the lockdown. The intensified lockdown seems to be working on ground, and also the strategy of the Chennai Corporation and the Tamil Nadu Health Department in terms of identifying the positive cases and isolating them. That seems to be, helping the Tamil Nadu government in fighting against COVID-19, and that seems to have worked at the grassroots level. But still, we have to wait for the numbers. And tomorrow there is a crucial meeting between the medical panel, the expert panel, and the chief minister to decide the next course of action. So based on the data that we managed to gather in the lockdown period, probably that will throw some more light. But initial information reveals that the rate of infection is going down, and that is a good news for the state.
Right, good news coming in this Sunday morning. Shabir, thank you for getting us those details. Moving on to Kolkata now, we are, of course, getting you details from what the City of Joy holds. There is going to be a reconsideration on the cap of COVID test rates. We're given to understand that this is something that the West Bengal government is considering, that TMC is considering. Remember, there is a cap on the treatment for COVID-19 across several states in the country, because we've seen instances of how private hospitals have tried to fleece people even in the time of this pandemic. We're given to understand that now there is a proposal to reconsider cap on COVID test rates. Shreshi now joins us for more on this. Yes, Shreshi.
Well, Poonam, on Friday, the West Bengal government, in an advisory to the private hospitals and laboratories here in West Bengal treating COVID patients, said that the maximum that can be charged from the patients for PPE and other protective gear is 1,000. It also capped the price of consultation fee for indoor patients. These are patients who get admitted in the hospital. The charge per day for their PPE, their protective gears, and consultation fee will be 1,000 rupees, while the COVID testing has been brought down by 50% here at private facilities to 2,250 rupees per test. Now, of course, the hospitals have been talking about breaking even. They are looking at a higher cost that they are also incurring because of this COVID-19 pandemic. So we will be probably getting the Eastern group of hospitals, their committee writing to the Chief Minister to reconsider thinking of the PPE, because they are also purchasing the PPE from other players to provide it for the patients for treatment.
Right, Shreshi, there is going to be a reconsideration as far as cap on PPE and test is concerned. We are awaiting a decision on that, but thank you for the moment. Moving on to what global headlines are being spoken of this Sunday morning. Intel leak on Russia hand in Afghanistan has rocked the United States. That's the big headline as far as global news is concerned. Moscow secretly offered bounties to militants to kill US troops. Trump government sat on that information. Now, this, in an election year for Donald Trump, is going to be extremely crucial, because this talks about how they were damaging monuments that are now punishable. The president has now signed an order, but Moscow really secretly offered bounties to militants to kill United States troops. The Trump administration had intel on it, but allegedly sat on that info and did nothing about it. Another big information coming in is about Facebook to censor hate speech, even those posted by politicians. Now, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, Twitter have all been embroiled in controversy over the last couple of days as far as Donald Trump and censoring him has been concerned on social media platforms. We're given to understand that Facebook is now going to censor hate speech, even those of politicians. Zuckerberg has lost $7 billion. The shares of Facebook have also dropped as far as this information is concerned. That's all we could pack in for you in this edition of the Newspaper Show. More news and updates coming to you on the other side. Stay with us.